Welcome back as we continue what has been an enlightening and inspiring conversation, because we are focused on ourselves and accepting ourselves, which I think is a difficult notion at the beginning of the year. There is so much expectation, there is so much self-judgment, measuring ourselves against other people. We're going to park it for just a moment and get practical, and we've got a great panel to do it. We've got motivational speaker and our kind of personal coach, Lucia Dramat, and then registered counsellor Shanaz Moos, and this time exploring ways to build confidence and live more truthfully every day and have less to give when it comes to other people's negativity, okay? And you've proven that you can put yourself out there, be vulnerable, have fun to spread that love and bring light to other people's lives. I'm, of course, referring to Shanaz's carpool karaoke that you will find on her social media platforms. But I'm going to jump right in with the question, because you will always get negative feedback. That is the algorithm of life. How do you deal with negativity in whatever way, shape or form as you're on this positive mission that you're on?
I think that, when we get negative feedback from anyone, known and unknown, we need to filter the relationship of the person to us.
Okay.
So who they are to me, do I trust them? Are they someone that has insight into me? And do they have a value add for my life that I want to take on their negative comments? But a random person who just is on having a bad day, or, just filled with negativity, needs to spew, you have to have boundaries to armor yourself against that. And that involves, working on yourself.
And ignoring the comment section.
Yeah.
Just ignore it, because it exists so that people can pass comments. So if you're going to be upset by people passing comments, just stay away, man.
Yeah, I think that's so true. And you mentioned something about that, like sort of suit of armor, getting ready for the day, the year. When it comes to, let's say, something like self-acceptance, Lucia, is this something that can unlock more than just understanding ourselves? Does it play into our creativity and our resilience? Because
Our
I
success.
would imagine these are almost like catalysts that can present a new version of us, which we are all absolutely welcoming this year.
Absolutely. I think that authenticity and self-acceptance, one of the big things with being a human is creating. It's innate to all humans, whether it is procreating, but whether it's design, innovation, something in the kitchen, it doesn't matter. Creating is something that's part
DNA.
of the human experience.
Yeah.
But some people cannot create if they don't feel that confidence or that self-acceptance, because my goodness, if I can't accept me, then how can I put a part of me out there?
What good am I to
How would
anyone else? Yeah.
accept
Yes.
that? So yes, of course, it's a big part. Self-acceptance plays a huge part. And then when it comes to resilience, it often speaks about the growth mindset. So a lot of people, when it comes to resilience, they can't bounce back because they don't have that self-compassion, where they say, okay, you didn't do as great as you want to do, but you know what? You can suck in the beginning. You can fail in the beginning.
should.
And give yourself the room to grow into where you want to achieve and be at the level that you want to be at, to keep going back until you get the result that you want to get.
I love that. The way that you guys speak about this, it's one thing to say, okay, it's nice to have to feel better about ourselves and then just go to bed feeling better at night. But it transcends that into practical ways that we can be better outside of that zone. So when you think of how often negativity or getting a negative response triggers me, and then I can't resolve conflict because I'm so triggered, or I'm sitting in my self-judgment, or I'm sitting in my judgment of someone else, how is your ability to fend off that negative, or curate what you dip into and not, and what you take on board? How has that helped you with things like conflict resolution specifically? Because that's often a wall we will butt our heads again repeatedly when the answer is right in front of us.
I think that, when we're looking for validation from other people, we're often going to walk straight into conflict when it isn't coming in the way we want, as soon as we want, or as often. But when you learn to self-validate and you have self-awareness, like Lucia was saying, you're in a situation with a sense of knowing the person's ability to either be okay with what you're going to say, and also then you also know that you're going to be okay with whatever they're going to say, but you can't give it to them. You can't give them that ability. So the conflict will come from, I'm okay with whatever plays out, but the other person may have an issue with what I do. And knowing who you are and having a strong sense of yourself makes you stand firm in your truth. This is what I believe. And people will always try and sway you.
Yeah.
They always try to move you with their opinions, with their judgments. And standing strong in yourself is much as a mental as it is a physical and an emotional stance.
Completely. I can imagine how that would diffuse a situation if you're not being triggered. The person who is being triggered is going to kind of come down to your vibration, your energy, not because of what you're telling them and throwing in their face, but what you're showing them. And that is so much more powerful. Yeah.
I love taking things to that practical realm, and I think it's the perfect opportunity to do just that. Lucia, maybe I can ask you, with regards to some of us, or probably most of us after this conversation, that want to harness and that ability to self-accept and to garner that confidence that we all wish to have, what are some maybe daily practices that we could implement that could further help us reach this goal and gravitate towards our true self?
I think mindfulness has been such a big topic in the last 4 or 5 years, and people are talking about it all the time. So yes, we can sit and journal, and we can sift through our thoughts and see what are those thoughts that come up consistently. Of course, look at affirmations. And I do believe in going on certain programs, reading certain books, just to start becoming more aware of things that you never knew, because there's a lot we don't know.
Don't know what you don't know.
And we filter our lives through it, we start seeing more stuff. But one key that, if I could only give one answer, it would be start with gratitude. Intense gratitude for
100%.
what you have in your life, what's going well. I've seen that a lot of people, when they lose their health and they gain it again, they're so grateful that they have their health back. But what about the person that never had to battle for their health? The person that just has their health, be so grateful that you've never had to battle for your health. If there's any area of your life you didn't have to fight for, be grateful for it, because someone else is fighting for it right now. And I think that shifts it already, shifts the game, shifts the judgment, and shifts your outlook on life in general.
Paradigm shift.
Well, on a scientific note there, I mean, I did a deep dive down that space because I'm always amazed on our drive into work, how I can be two different people on this last little stretch of highway according to those points of the off-ramps. Where I've got to be feeling, by the time I walk into the studio, I've got to have reached a certain level of empathy, but also have let go of stuff. There's things that need to happen, and we do it practically every single day. But in that, I found out that being grateful literally activates your brain. It allows you to build new neural pathways. It increases the elasticity of your brain and your creativity, which is a survival skill. It's one of our greatest survival skills. So it's at our core. Maybe an affirmation, something that people can try on themselves. If we're not that kind of person who knows the words and knows the feelings, from someone who is very well versed, and I suppose in yourself and the feelings, what is your affirmation? What affirmation would you recommend as a way of starting? And this is my daily affirmation when I wake up in the morning.
I think that affirmations are unique to you, and sometimes when we try to copy paste, it doesn't work because our brain is rejecting it. So I often say with the neural pathways that you're talking about, neuroplasticity is available to everybody if you are able to find the affirmation that ties into who you are. And that's the authentic part. And so an example is lots of blue on me. I start in the new year with my favorite color. This blue is my favorite color. My car is even teal. So for me, I have physical manifestations of things that bring me joy. And so if I had to say something and choose something easy, start your day saying, let me look for more joy in my day. You know?
Like that, yeah.
Instead of saying, I am beautiful, I am, and you
I'm
don't
going to be a success.
Because with gratitude and joy, you change the frequency around you to invite things of higher vibration. So you want to say, I invite more joy into my life. And you just sit back and you wait and you just see how things unfold and you be like, what?
Yeah.
Believe in yourself, believe.
Whether you think it's going to work out or you think it's going to fail, you're right.
Yes.
I love that. I know we have a coin that's, I love it. I probably butchered that quote, but I absolutely love that. That's my affirmation there for today.
I think an affirmation for all of us right now is that we definitely are grateful, not only to have the opportunity to have these conversations, but I think to share it with the rest of the country and possibly the world. So I'm grateful for having a panel like this that can be raw, authentic, and honest. Thank you for your wisdom. I think this is the perfect conversation that we need to take with us into this new year and hopefully run with it, and not running in a way that it's an awkward, struggling process, but run with flow, with vigor, and with impact. And I think we can all do that after this conversation.
We're going to prance like Heidi prancing down a meadow. Frolicking. That's that. I like it. My word of the year is frolic.
That's what we're manifesting. So thank you once again. And I think for you, Mzansi, absolutely inspiring words and valuable advice has been shared. And it's all about self-acceptance and authenticity. Put that high up on your list and make it manifest in beautiful ways. I think it's clear that the journey to self-acceptance is deeply personal, yet universally empowering. And I think it's a hope that today's conversation has encouraged everybody watching to start embracing your true selves.